Hello and welcome back to BB Kingle Halloween Origins. Today we're talking about vampires. Vampires are pale looking people, like they're dead, and they've also got very sharp fangs which they use to suck the blood from their victims. To trace it back to the beginning, we have to go to ancient Egypt, and we are going to look at the goddess Sekhmet. Now, she was a warrior goddess, and her father, the sun god, told her to go and punish the humans due to the humans being disobedient. So she came to Earth and punished an awful lot, slaughtering them all, and she got a bit of a liking for that. She then started to devour their bodies, mainly the blood. She started drinking their blood. Her father thought it would best that he would interject, so he decided to dye some beer red, a ton. He dyed a ton of beer red, put it down to Earth, and let her find it. Anyways, she found it, drank it, and became too drunk to continue, and she willingly returned home without a bit of fuss. Also, going back to ancient Greece as well, they used to say that they'd find bodies dry, no blood in them. So then a little folklore rumour started spreading, saying that a kind of humanoid creature would sneak into people's houses while they sleep and drain their bodily fluids. However, if we really want to talk about the vampires we know, then we best go to the Middle Ages. And like I mentioned in my video, this one here, it's all about the plague. Now, if you haven't watched my Halloween Origins Grim Reaper, I talk about the Black Plague in that as well, so I'm just going to gloss over it quickly because I mainly speak about it there. However, the Black Plague was during the mid-1300s, and there was also a lot of other illnesses kicking about at the time. Bodies would be found with mouth-shaped lesions on them, making it look like someone had bitten them, and maybe that would have caused their death. This, to some people at the time, was a clear sign of vampirism. They were like, yes, that is a vampire that has done that to this person, obviously not knowing and or understanding what the kind of disease was like. Porphyria was also a huge one that was out at the time of the plague. This is where your skin is very sensitive to light. So if you were to leave the house having porphyria, your skin would turn to blisters. It would just burn instantly. You are that sensitive, which again is another vampire characteristic. They can't go outside, they're pale, they look dead, so people would see that happening and go, vampire. Goiter, tuberculosis and rabies also had some side effects that make them look like vampires, make them have vampire characteristics, but obviously not having the understanding or knowledge that we do now of diseases back then, people just didn't know. They'd just go straight to vampire. We're going along the timeline here, so we're now in Transylvania, and we're talking about something called a strigo, which was a once human ghost kind of vampire that needs blood to survive. This monster has risen from the grave, and in Romania in 2005, a man who was believed to be a strigo died, and his family performed a ritual on him to ensure he stayed dead. They used a wooden stake, pierced it through his heart, and sprinkled him with garlic ash. And now we're getting somewhere. Now we're talking about Vlad Dracul the Third, better known as Vlad the Impaler. He was known for impaling his victims in the battlefield. He'd take a wooden stake and put their bodies on top and lay them out as a kind of decoration. He was known as one of the most ruthless and cruel rulers of any time period. Now, just to top it off on how kind of hardcore he would go out into the field where the war was, and he'd sit amongst his victims, all on wooden stakes, and he'd have some scram. He'd have a bit to eat, and if he had some bread with him, you know, people dip bread in oils, not Vlad. He'd dip it in the blood, have a taste. He liked it. So there's wooden stakes, blood, and his last name is Dracul. Just think about that. Because in 1897, an Irish author called Bram Stoker would write a book, a very famous one at that, called Count Dracula, where he was a vampire and the only way he could be killed is a wooden stake through the heart. So Dracula is his name. Wooden stake can kill him, and he's a vampire. So drinks blood, wooden stake, Dracula. Dracul, wooden stakes, victims, and he also apparently dipped his bread in their blood. Now, even though people who have studied Dracula, the book, and who way back when knew Bram Stoker and have done their very in-depth, some kind of analysis on everything and some incredible research, they say that there's nothing saying that he kind of took that idea and made Count Dracula. However, I feel as though he's looked at that Vlad the Impaler and thought, yeah, I'll pinch a few bits, and it's helped him along the way. He hasn't necessarily took it completely, but it's helped him anyways. He was born in Transylvania as well, so was Count Dracula. Vlad, I mean, there's 4 main ones there. That is the origins of the vampires. Now, around this time, Halloween, it is huge. They are so popular, mainly because of the Count Dracula book, which then became a movie, and now there's movies for kids like Hotel Transylvania. There's ones for adults like Blade and like Twilight. There's all sorts. Day Shift has been a new one that came out just last year. I mean, vampires are not going anywhere. They are staying. People think they're mint. I think they're mint. And it just became a huge thing. It's always been a folklore. Like I said, going back to ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. And then they're becoming more popular as well in the plague. And they've just kept on going and going and going. So, could there be real vampires? The answer is yes. There are people that keep it on the hush, that do drink animal blood and human blood, but they are from donors. They are people saying, yes, you can drink my blood. These real vampires say that it's very beneficial to their health, and humans do not get some kind of vitamins and nutrients due to us not drinking blood. However, nothing in science says that is true. So take that with a pinch of salt. However, these people go very unnoticed and they're not in the public eye a lot. So they're just doing the thing, drinking the blood, real vampires. However, like I said, it's donated to them. They're not going out during the night biting people's necks. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please check this one out here and join me on my search for the origins of the most famous Halloween monsters.